3, 2, 1.
All right, feeling good on a Thursday morning. Welcome to KSAT News Now. Joining me today is my brother from another mother. That would be the one and only Stephen Cavazos.
Thank you. It's good to be with you again.
Yeah.
Always happy to be. We've been hanging out all week.
We have been, yes. Stephen's been doing a little training with me, so he's had to deal with me a little bit more than usual. But
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm just waiting when you're going to bring me my cup of coffee and when you come into the early morning shifts.
Yeah. Maybe we can work on that for sure.
Well, I know we're going to be talking coffee a little bit later on.
Yeah, definitely. So this morning also, we're going to be talking about a new playground in the works to help with the healing process in Uvalde. A very important story there. So the latest on this volunteer-led effort.
Yeah, plus a billionaire gives away most of his company. I'm sure you've heard this story. We'll tell you why in just a bit. And a San Antonian favorite ready for takeoff at the airport. Well, we'll tell you what will soon be available for people flying the friendly skies. It's just the way you like it.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm shocked that this eatery, this food spot is not there yet at the moment. But first, we're going to start with some big national news, some things making headlines this morning. We're talking about this Amtrak strike and an agreement that has been reached, a top story, of course, around the country. Amtrak working on getting transportation back to schedule after an agreement was reached, the deal coming just a day before workers planned a massive strike.
That's right. Those railroads and union reps were in negotiation for more than 20 hours before President Biden called asking them to consider the harm that would be done to families, farmers, and businesses if there was a shutdown.
The deal includes wage increases, bonuses, no increases in co-pays and deductibles, and for the first time, paid time off for sick workers and exemptions for medical visits.
Yeah, workers will see a 24% raise and bonuses, but one of the union's biggest push was to ease attendance rules. Now, workers will be able to get unpaid time off for doctor's appointments without being penalized.
That's right. Amtrak had already canceled many long-distance trains over fears of a strike, and they are now working on getting those back going and reaching back out to customers that have been affected by this.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of customers that were being affected, and the concerns about the delays it would possibly cause as well.
Yeah, and in fact, I was looking this up, and I was just trying to see what some of the affected services were, and one of them was Texas Eagle, and this was a service that was suspended yesterday, and this is a route that does actually travel to San Antonio. So it goes from Dallas, San Antonio to St. Louis and Chicago, so maybe even some people here locally affected by what's been a pretty big national story.
Right, it's interesting how it reaches to different parts of the country, and you don't even realize how close to home it could actually hit. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, it seems like things are kind of getting back on track as a tentative deal has been reached there. Well, moving on here, there will soon be a new playground in Uvalde thanks to a national nonprofit group. Yeah,
the new playground will go in De Leon Park, and the city will tear down the current wooden equipment.
The playground was designed by the community and families of the Robb Elementary School shooting, and of course those victims, and it will be built by hand with volunteers from Kaboom. This is a nonprofit, and they need 250 volunteers to get the work done.
It's going to be some time, but work on the playground will start on October 13th, so that's actually coming up pretty soon, if you really think about it, and will be done on October 15th. Volunteers must be 16 years old or older, and you can register on our website. You know what that is, ksat.com.
Yeah, and this is a story that Lee Waldman did yesterday for us, and again, it's good to see all these nonprofits and everyone stepping up in any way possible to kind of help the community.
Yeah, seeing that the CEO also saying that, you know, obviously this playground, you get a lot of laughter and fun memories there, but also given what the citizens and residents of Uvalde have gone through in the last few months, they're hoping that it brings healing and joy during such a time that's been so difficult for so many people. So we're hoping for that. Something
as simple as a playground, right? It seems to, like you mentioned, just kids playing, kids being themselves, and people able to just share some time together. So that's going to be a quick turnaround, though. October 13th and 15th, they're going to build it rain or shine, right?
Yeah, and the great thing is, though, I think the fact that they're going 16 years or older, so I think that widens the age gap there. So anyone that's interested in volunteering, of course, our website, ksat.com, and you can look for that story and find the link there as well. So sign up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, moving on to this next story we talked about at the very top. This is a billionaire who's basically giving away most of his company here. A well-known outdoor brand is putting their money where their mouth is. The founder of Patagonia, his name is Ivan Shinward, and his family have given away their shares of the company to an environmental nonprofit called Hold Fast Collective, and that's 98% of the family's stock. week.
Wow. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, get this. Patagonia will still be a for-profit, but every year after reinvesting into the company, every dollar will go to Holdfast to help fight the climate crisis. That's expected to be $100 million a year. I sounded like Dr. Evil there.
$100 million.
Yes.
Patagonia's website now reads that, quote, the Earth is now our only shareholder, end quote. And in a letter explaining all of this, Shinward said that while we're doing our best to address the environmental crisis, it's not enough. We needed to find a way to put more money into fighting the crisis while keeping the company's values intact.
Patagonia. So were you, I mean, this is a pretty popular brand.
Yes,
I mean,
it
I'm
is.
sure so many are familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I did not realize that they were doing this.
Right.
Now, the owners or the family here, their net worth is about $3 billion, or his net worth is $1.2 billion. The company's worth $3 billion. I didn't realize they were on that level. But good for them.
Yeah.
Stepping up here, trying to help out.
And after reinvesting into the company, you know, so I'm saying that the remaining funds will be distributed that way, I think is important. $100 million is still a lot of money.
Yeah, it's definitely not chump change there,
No,
for
not
sure.
at all.
Anything to kind of help out with their process. So
Definitely.
good stuff there.
Yeah.
All right, we were talking earlier, Starbucks.
Starbucks, all right, that coffee. I mean, but you're a coffee drinker.
I am. We were talking about this earlier with Stephanie Sedina out there in our newsroom.
I'm a coffee drinker, and I know we're going to talk to Mia Montgomery in just a moment about her favorite cup of coffee. But get this, your complicated Starbucks order may get a bit easier for those baristas.
All right. According to CNN Business, Starbucks is brewing up a new plan that will spark growth over the next 3 years.
That's right. Part of that plan includes thousands of new stores, more reliable mobile apps, and new equipment.
Starbucks interim CEO Howard Schultz said, quote, we're not reinventing what we do, we're just reinventing how we do it, end quote.
Yeah, over the years, business has changed dramatically. If you really think about it, more customers are opting for cold beverages and those TikTok-inspired concoctions. I mean, I've seen those on Instagram. I've seen it. I don't have TikTok. I'm not a talker yet.
Me neither, but I hear they're pretty elaborate concoctions there.
Yes, and you know, but the great thing is, I mean, if you've ever been to a line, at any coffee line, really, especially as early as we get into the station, it could just be a pain. So hopefully, you know, whenever this equipment is added, it does kind of offer some relief. And I always like to say, pack your patience anytime you go grab a cup of coffee, because you never know how long that line is going to be. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Mia Montgomery joining us. She's back.
Good morning.
Second time with us.
Good morning.
So we didn't scare you off
No,
the first
of course
time.
not.
Oh,
No, we're
fantastic.
fantastic.
Pumpkin spice
Yes.
kind of gal.
Are you a fan?
Big time.
Wow, okay.
Especially like with weather that we had this morning, where it just, you know, little tastes and teases of fall. Now getting more excited for some PSL action.
Oh my
But on a
gosh.
regular day, I did try the chocolate. It's the cream cold brew the
my
other day
gosh.
from Starbucks.
Yeah.
Y'all, it was phenomenal. Of course, I got it iced because it's just been way hot lately.
Chocolate cream cold brew.
Yes, it was so
iced.
good.
Okay.
You know, peppermint in my coffee has been a new thing I've been doing.
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
So I get like the peppermint mocha stuff, like especially when we get closer to the holidays
Sure,
and Christmas.
Give you that
I
feel.
100% support that
Okay,
decision.
well, thank you, Mia.
Of course,
Yes.
of course. Well, speaking of which, today's trivia question
Look at that.
actually
Look at that.
does
Look at that.
incorporate a little bit of coffee. So what temperature range is best for coffee bean growth? Your choices, 24 to 30 degrees. All these are in Fahrenheit, by the way. 35 to 42, 44 to
gonna help me
56, or 64 to 73.
Oh,
What do you think?
That's a good question. I never really thought. We're gonna say. I thought D too. I'm gonna go with D.
What do you think, RJ?
Okay,
Yeah.
for coffee bean growth, you know what? Let's go C, kind of right there. Nice
Okay.
little middle temperature. Maybe
Here it
that kind
is.
of
I never get
It's
these right,
D.
and I'm so excited.
I honestly, I didn't even know this. I did
Yes.
some research when it came to meteorological conditions and coffee bean growth, but actually,
Wow, okay.
when you are above this range, the development and ripening accelerates of coffee
Wow.
beans, and that can actually degrade the coffee bean quality.
Ah,
So there you
very
go. Little
interesting.
fun facts
Okay.
for the day.
Yeah. No one wants to be decaffeinated.
No, and you
Yeah.
don't want your coffee quality to not
Yeah,
be,
next
you
time-
know, up
next
to the
time I
par.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time I go over, I'm going to be like, what temperature range? Because
Right?
Mia Montgomery told us that, you know, it needs to be 64 to
Get it in
73.
writing.
There you go.
See-
yeah,
see it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, show them this
Exactly.
newscast.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's continue on with just a quick kind of look at the forecast. This morning was a pumpkin spice latte kind of morning for sure. It was a fantastic start to this Thursday. Our official special low over at San Antonio International was 67 degrees. That actually is the coolest morning that we have seen here in San Antonio since May 26th. So over 100 days until we had seen a temperature that pleasant outside. Now it's still going to be hot into this afternoon. We are seeing those temperatures warm up pretty efficiently, upper 70s and low 80s. A little bit warmer the farther south you go, where we're seeing some more peaks of sunshine out there into the second half of this morning as well. I think partly cloudy is what we're going to find as we head into the second half of the day. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast, about 90 by 2 p.m. And as we continue on into the afternoon, still partly cloudy. I do think we will find plenty of peaks of sunshine and blue skies, but we generally have a forecast high pointed in the low 90s for the majority of the area. Later this evening, those temperatures start to drop off just a little bit more, about 84 by 9 p.m. And it's going to be very, very isolated. More of us than not probably missing out on the rain activity today, but we do have about a 10% potential to find maybe an isolated splash of rain before the day is done. Right now, as we take a look at satellite and radar, you can see those partly cloudy skies, those clouds that are moving in from the southeast and farther up to the north and the west. We're pretty quiet though in terms of rain this hour, and again, most of us will stay that way before the day is done. But you can see here on your future cast, especially farther down to the south, a couple of isolated spots of rain, not completely out of the question, especially as we put that daytime heat to work later today. But speaking of the heat, along with that and of course the sunshine, another ozone action day is in place this Thursday. Air quality takes a little bit of a hit, so just something to be mindful of, especially if you do have unusually sensitive respiratory systems. Most of us probably won't find many issues, but if you typically are affected when we do have these ozone action days, probably a good idea to limit some time outside this afternoon as well. But as we get ready to head into the upcoming weekend, high pressure is going to slide eastward. You know what that means. Those southeasterly winds then pump in more of that Gulf moisture. We had some of that drier air that mixed in last night, which is why this morning felt pretty good. But with the addition of that humidity, the next couple of mornings are probably going to be just a little bit warmer out there, low 70s, and then we'll keep some isolated chances for rain there as well. Quickly, an update on the tropics, since we are just past the climatological peak of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. Tropical storm Fiona, this time yesterday this was Tropical Depression 7, but hurricane hunters did find that it strengthened into a tropical storm. That is going to continue tracking westward, approaching the Lesser Antilles, and then it's also going to be approaching Puerto Rico, Haiti, places like that, before then it takes a turn farther up to the north. So as of right now, it's no concern for us, but of course we're still going to continue to monitor it into the weekend. And really, guys, high pressure returns into next week. Forecast looking a little bland, not a whole lot in terms of rain, but it's still going to be pretty hot with more humidity. So not good news there. We definitely could use a front.
Well, PSL, an ice PSL.
An ice PSL,
fine, just fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, it still gives us a little bit of
It's a little of a compromise. At this time of year, we try to just pretend a little bit, you know, until we actually start to get some of that cooler air.
We're going to manifest this. It's going to happen for us.
Speak it into existence, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff,
yes.
You know, I'm a bit of a weirdo because I still like to drink hot coffee on hot days.
So
that is weird.
So if it's in the morning,
like, what?
I could do that in the morning.
There you go. Well,
but
thank you for indulging me.
I agree. But if you were to do that right now, I think we all kind of be like, is he okay?
There's something
I
wrong
get it
with
though. Caffeine's sometimes.
That is
And
true.
if that's
That's
what you
the
got,
bottom
that's
line.
what you got to go with.
Yeah, we don't caffeine shame around.
Yes,
here.
that's the bottom line there.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Mia.
Of course. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, Stephen. So moving on to our last story of today. So a San Antonio favorite here. Hard to believe that this is not there, is landing at the airport, and we're talking about Whataburger opening its first location at San Antonio International.
Oh, this is going to be good. Whataburger is opening in the Terminal A food court. That's coming up on September 23rd. Terminal A is home to local restaurants like La Gloria, Smoke Shack, and Rosario's.
Very cool there.
Yes.
So airport and Whataburger officials announced the new location over a year ago, saying that the burger spot was requested by many travelers.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's it's the burger of Texas, essentially. But the restaurant will include custom wall art, that pays tribute to local landmarks and will hire more than 50 people for the new location.
And of course, Whataburger's headquarters are right here in the Alamo City. Been that way all the way since the late 2000s, 2009.
So how do you like it?
How do I like it? Number one,
Okay,
with obviously no onions. That's the only thing that I don't get in there. Yeah,
okay.
but I'm good with the mustard. I like it maybe toasted bun every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Double meat, Texas toast, throw in the onion,
All the
leave out the
above? Yeah.
tomato, no cheese. And honestly,
Okay,
every
me too,
time
no
I go,
cheese,
I
yeah.
have to have like a soda. I just have to. It just
Right,
doesn't feel right
yeah.
leaving there with the water.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the soda, and I've noticed that they're doing like all sorts of different like shakes now. I think for the fall, they had like
A pumpkin spice?
not a pumpkin spice. I think that may be coming up. It was like a banana pudding milkshake the other day. Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, I don't know about that.
Maybe. I can get on board
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, but yeah, Whataburger coming to San Antonio Airport. Pretty cool stuff there.
Well,
So,
that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Stephen, really appreciate you being with us on today's KSAT News Now on a very, very busy Thursday here at KSAT 12. And we will see you guys tomorrow right here at 11 a.m. Have a good one.